What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the LTQ Wrestling Podcast. I am BDJ, joined today by BDJ Tears. And the Royal Rumble happened. Big event. It was in Saudi Arabia, early start time. I actually got to watch the full event before I went to work later that night. So we're all good. Was it the greatest show? Everybody has a debate about that. It definitely had its ups and downs, like every WWE PLE. A lot of commercials, a lot of dragging along throughout the show, like usual. But we had a lot of stuff going on. We'll be talking about all that today. Tears, how we feeling?
I feel like this is going to be a very polarizing episode.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about as my hand gets in the way here. But yeah, there's a lot to get into. And we'll start with Roman Reigns. He won the Men's Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be facing CM Punk at WrestleMania. A lot of fans loved the promo they did on Raw against each other. It was really one of the best promos in a while. A lot of realness to it, a lot of just tension. And you could feel the real life animosity. I mean, I don't even really think these two like each other too much in real life, judging off Reigns' comments. If you guys saw my TikTok, I talked a little bit about it. But like Reigns said before, when they asked him, do you want Punk back? He said, no, we don't want that clown back. He quit on us and everything. So I do think there's some real life tension there. I'm sure they can work together, but it's always good when you get promos like that hype you up and get you hyped for a match. So Tears, what are your overall thoughts on Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble? I know it was very predictable. It was my prediction for it. It was either going to be him or Cody, judging off what they were going to do at WrestleMania. What do you think about him winning the Rumble? And are you looking forward to him against Punk?
First off, don't actually do what I'm about to say, people, but I'm just saying this as a joke. But take a shot every single time you hear the word real or realism or real in general. But I feel like Roman was a pretty safe pick. Is there other picks that would have been more fan favorable? Yeah, but overall, it's like I wasn't excited for it, but I wasn't mad about it because it's just like it was one of those like Roman Reigns. I understand people being mad about like like he shows up and he wins. That's been his shtick recently. Like he's barely here type stuff, and I'm just like, are we really still mad that this type of stuff happens? Like, let's be real. When was the last time the Males Royal Rumble was an exciting win? I guess Jey Uso, like, at the time. Fortunately, it didn't feel like, looking back at it a year later, it led to much. I can't remember. Cody won the last one before that. Cody again. Yeah, I can't really. I don't have any like negatives, but I don't have anything like mind blowing excitement about it.
Nah, I mean, it was pretty much the safe route. I mean, there ain't really. I mean, a lot of fans were upset. I mean, I'm not saying I was like thrilled about it, but again, if you've heard what their plans are, I mean, it ain't really shocking. It was going to be Punk and Roman, Drew, Cody, and Fatu, or Drew and Cody. So it's either going to be Cody or Reigns who won the Rumble. Now, you can make the argument should have had someone new win it. Could debate, but where do they fit in the WrestleMania plans? And that I know there's a lot of fans wanting Braun Breaker to win. Seems like they're setting up him and Rollins. He got eliminated right away, which was very surprising, at least to me. And they still showcase some NXT or rising talent in the Rumbles. I mean, Obafemi had a great Royal Rumble. So Ruka had a great Royal Rumble as well. Like they've, tried showcasing the future, and that was their plan reportedly, was to showcase a lot of the future stars in the Rumble. Because they know, especially in the men's division, they got to start getting some new stars going. Because a lot of these guys like Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Drew, Cody, they're in their 40s now, or close to 40. So they're getting up there in age. Who knows how many years they have. We've just seen Styles retire, which we'll get into that at the end of the episode. John Cena, they rely a lot on these older guys. And you got to start pushing some new guys like Obafemi and Braun Breaker and Leon Slater and Javon Evans. The list goes on and on. So it was good to see Oba get a good showing in the Rumble. Him and Brock had a little bit of a moment there, which is cool. Maybe that's the direction they go for WrestleMania. I've either heard Gunther and Brock or Oba and Brock, which both would be interesting. So, Tid, I'll ask you, which one would you rather see? You're a Brock guy, so would you rather see Oba and Brock or Gunther and Brock? Or do you think it's too quick to do Oba and Brock right now?
I generally feel like it's way too early to do Owen and Brock, even though that would probably be a better match, in my opinion. And this will be something we probably talk about in the future. episode, probably not this one, but we just need more time to book it in. Gunther versus Brock would make sense with the currently where we're going with Gunther, but I don't want that. While that is, once again, we'll talk about it later, probably in like a full Gunther like episode or something like that. Generally, I don't want either. At least not at Mania.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really like thrilled by the idea of doing either one. Like, it'd be cool. It ain't like it's like, oh my god, Oba against Brock or Gunther against Brock. If they're gonna do Gunther against Brock, they're gonna wait till SummerSlam in Minnesota next year, where Brock could potentially retire. Which, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I understand both sides of the Gunther career killer story or whatever they're doing with that. But yeah, Roman Reigns. I mean, look, him and Punk's gonna be a big star-making match. That's what it's about: getting people to tune in, putting stars in the main events. They have a history. I actually enjoyed the triple threat from last year where Rollins involved, so I'm not completely against this idea. Does Roman win the title back? I do think that's a strong possibility. I've heard a lot of fans say the product was better when Reigns was there more and he was on
Well, keep in
top
mind,
more.
he didn't hold this belt. This is the world heavyweight title, not the world or
Oh,
universe,
I know. I
whatever.
just mean like a world title again, basically. Like,
Okay.
yeah. But I mean, he did make them comments on the Pat McAfee show. If anybody saw that, about how nobody knew has gotten over since he gave up the title and how creative hasn't really been that great. I mean, he was speaking very honest about how he has not been happy with creative, how they haven't really got anybody new over. I mean, they keep going back to the well, but like, I agree and disagree with his points on that, because it's like WWE doesn't push a lot of new people in the men's division. Like, they kind of do and they kind of don't. I mean, they kind of rely on a lot of the same people. So if you're a young star coming to the main roster, I mean, it takes WWE sometimes years to even get them a world title. I mean, when's Breaker going to win a world title? Who knows? When's Oba going to win a world title?
Okay. I
You
want
know,
to
they
point
don't really
something
have.
out.
Oh, go ahead, Tears. My bad.
Like, is when you mentioned like what he said about the Pat McAfee show. That's pretty funny because if you remember the John Cena and Roman Reigns promo a while back, the one that was considered the worst Roman Reigns promo of all time.
Yeah.
John Cena did also mention to where like, I'm still here because you can't do your job. It's really interesting that it kind of feels like that it went full circle. That just registered in my head when you said that.
Yeah, it's kind of pretty much deja vu with that. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess some of the points he's saying, WWE creative has to be better. The product's been stale for a while now. I do think they got to do something different. It's just kind of been, we talk about Triple H's booking a lot, but like, it's just been kind of the same thing, same pattern, very boring. Nothing exciting happens. Like, maybe this will put some jolt into the show, even though Reigns ain't going to be there a lot heading into WrestleMania. It still gives you something when he does show up. You're like, oh, Roman Reigns going to be there tonight. What's he going to do? Him and Punk. So I don't hate the idea because it's something different. There's a lot of real element to it. So I'm not against the idea of doing him and Punk at Mania now. I do think Reigns is going to beat Punk. Maybe he doesn't, but I do think WWE is going to see like the success that Reigns and Punk's going to have, and they're going to think, okay, well, Reigns still is a draw, which he is, and we're going to put the title back on him for a while. Maybe, obviously, he's not going to have a 4-year reign, but maybe he holds it for a year or two and then loses it at next year's Mania, or whatever the case. We'll have to see. But again, it's a big money match. That's what WrestleMania is all about. So I understand, the point of view of it's predictable as hell, which WWE is always predictable. I mean, I've made jokes about how people I know think I should book WWE because I always predict what the hell they're going to do. But, sometimes the most predictable outcome isn't always the worst outcome. And I feel like with Reigns and Punk, it's not the worst outcome in the world. Because, I mean, what are you going to do? Have Cody win it again? And Cody's got a lot of criticism lately about how he's boring and how they didn't like his title reign and how they're tired of Cody. So I don't think that would have been the safest route. Cody's been getting booed a lot lately. So, I mean, it's either Cody or Reigns. I guess Reigns was the better pick, especially with crowd reaction. So we'll see where it goes. I'm looking forward to it, though. So the other Royal Rumble, the women's Royal Rumble, which I thought was a better overall match. Some might disagree. Liv Morgan finally got the job done. She's came so close so many years. I think she was in the final two or three times in the last 4 years. I mean, she's been so close every single time. She finally eliminates Tiffany Stratton to win the Women's Royal Rumble. It was good to see Tiffy back. Figured she was going to make her return eventually. She's been out with injury.
I thought she was going to win.
Yes, she came close, yeah. So Ruka was in the final three. I thought she, like I said earlier, had a great showing in this match. I'm a big So Ruka fan. I like her finisher. I think she's great. By the way, all you fans out there who say Tyler Bate doesn't deserve So Ruka, look at Tyler Bates' resume. I've seen people saying, "Oh, how does he deserve So Ruka?" He dated Liv Morgan and Toni Storm. I think he's got quite the resume to deserve So Ruka. But anyways, So Ruka,
dude is
he's a player.
I
mean, let's not talk about what he's doing in WWE right now with that stupid El Grande Americano mask thing him and Pete are doing. But that's the story for another day. The Women's Royal Rumble, Liv Morgan gets the win. She eliminates Raquel during it, which I thought was interesting. That could set up something down the line. She just had a great showing. And, again, I could hear the argument, oh, Liv's had success before. Why did she win? But she's never won a Royal Rumble. And if you're going off like what WWE likes to do with stories, she's came close many, many times. And that's kind of the story Triple H likes to go with, where people, win after failing so many times. So it kind of went with that kind of tradition he likes to do. Everybody knows I'm a big Liv Morgan fan. I was happy with it. So, Tears, what do you think about Liv winning the Rumble, and do you like seeing her and Valkyria at WrestleMania?
I thought like between the two, Liv winning was definitely the better Rumble, because it was one of those things to where like it was becoming a situation to where people were being like, Liv didn't win a Rumble yet. That's crazy. And it's just like she hasn't been in a main event scene for that long. She only had like one women's world title run, and it was just Rhea Ripley, really? Or am I crazy?
She cashed in on Ronda Rousey.
Oh God, yeah, that one did.
And then
I forgot that one happened actually.
So a short reign and then kind of a other reign, pretty much.
Okay, thank you. I probably was not the only one who forgot about that first one, to be fair. It was getting close to being a situation to where people would eventually be like, wait, Liv never won a Royal Rumble? Crazy. So the fact that we already got that out of the way, that's a good thing. She's a former Money in the Bank holder now. She's the Royal Rumble winner, which means former Royal Rumble winner. I think her status as being one of the main eventers really helps with this win as well. Because now it's like she's kind of like how 10 years ago Alexa Bliss was the main person, even though Alexa Bliss never won a Royal Rumble either, which is crazy to think about that. Now that I say it out loud, maybe in the future. Her like just quickly eliminating Raquel Rodriguez like to get a better chance. That pretty nice. And oh God, I just had flashbacks to that Tijuana bomb on Rhea to eliminate Rhea Ripley. Oh, that spot hurts.
Yeah, I think
I don't
Steve
like.
Richard said that. He was talking about it, and he said like you can't fake that bump. You're landing like right on it. It's I feel that.
And Rhea Ripley has talked about in the past. She has a bad her back is not good shape. So I'm kind of concerned. Maybe after this, I'll look to see how Rhea is. I haven't seen Raw yet. For anybody saying, I don't know if she was on Raw or not. We're filming this on a Wednesday.
I'm pretty sure she was. I watched Raw. Yeah, I think her and Io did something. Could be wrong though.
Okay. 3 hours too long for most people. That was a bad spot. I hear a lot of people saying like they wanted Raquel Rodriguez to have won instead, but I'm just like,
she was a wild card pick for me. I mean, I didn't really see it, but I was thinking like maybe they had her Roxanne win to set up them in Livermania, or maybe like a triple threat. That was like something I was thinking about, but I was like, yeah.
I don't feel like we build a story yet for that type of match. I feel like we need a lot longer for a 3 women of the Judgment Day for the world title thing. And plus, we need to put some spice into Stephanie Valkyrie's title run. Jesus flipping Christ.
Hey, it's not as bad as Jay Cargill's. To say
That's
that.
true. That
Jade's
is
had
very
what,
true.
one defense in like 4 months? Actually, yeah. I did think it was a possibility, by the way, that Belair was going to come back and win this, but I guess Belair's
A lot of
finger
people
is still
suspected that.
just screwed. I mean,
I guess I'm just like what's the word I'm looking for? We got spoiled with how Rhea and Liv's with the and Io Sky with the world heavyweight title, like their runs with it, to where eventually we're probably going to get one that doesn't match up to them. Stephanie, still a great wrestler, but this title reign hasn't really had the hit.
Yeah, it hasn't had an it
yet,
factor.
in my opinion.
I know she's battled injuries and stuff, but they haven't really gave her a feud that's really like for her to sink her teeth into, like to really be like a memorable feud for her. There hasn't really been nothing that's like, oh yeah, Stephanie and this person. So do you like them doing her and Liv? I mean, I heard like a month ago that Liv was going to be the most showcased woman at Wrestlemania, and this was the plan. So that's why her winning the Rumble wasn't a surprise to me. Do you like them facing each other? It's the first time match, something different. But do you like the idea?
I like the idea, but I don't know what they can do for this feud, but I am very intrigued on how they book this feud. If they even want to call it a feud, I really hope it does. I hope it's not just one of those situations to where like it's just these two are just planning to have a match at Mania. That's it. No. If there's no feud, if there's no build up to it, I'm gonna be agitated like I was. The fact like we only booked Royal Rumble for 1 week. We only advertised Royal Rumble for 1 week. I'm still perplexed about that. I am looking forward to it, but I can't go into it thinking like, oh, it's going to be the best thing ever because I don't know what to expect. Do I want the match to be top notch? Absolutely.
Could you see them adding Raquel or Roxanne to it since they've been kind of involved? I mean, they did have Raquel and Stephanie in a street fight. Liv cost Raquel the match technically, or not cost her, but kind of got involved and distracted her or whatever. Like, is that something you could see happening? Because it seems like they're kind of involved in this whole feud to one degree or another. Like they're kind of teasing something with Raquel. I don't.
It's really bad that you said that because I just finished watching a clip of Christian talking on, I think it was Chris Van Vliet's episode where they talked about like him leaving WWE because WWE didn't trust him to hold a match because it was the WWE title match between him and John Cena. And then they just randomly added Chris Jericho, and that was demoralizing to Christian. So I feel like if we add Raquel Rodriguez, why was I about to say somebody else's name? I feel like it'll be like adding things that doesn't need to be there.
I could see that. I mean, they could always go to like Liv and Raquel or Liv and Roxanne after Mania. I mean, there's always plenty of time to do it. It ain't like they got to rush into it or anything. So, yeah, I mean, I can see what you're saying. Like, it kind of take away from like, and WWE does do a lot of multi-person matches. I've heard Cornette and them complaining about how like they constantly do 4-way, 3-ways. Which, I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but it's like every Mania, I feel like we're getting a triple threat main event now. So, not that this match would be a main event, but.
And plus, like it also goes to the argument to where, like, if you want if you want bigger stars, like Roman Reigns says, you need to give more trust into said superstars. So a one-on-one match, probably the best thing to do. I feel like you keep doing like multi-man matches, you're kind of like you're devaluing the person to being like you're not putting trust in them. We're gonna put this person in there just in case you mess up or something or they mess up or something like that. You're putting too much of a parachute on them.
Yeah, it's like not really letting them showcase on one-on-one what they can really do. So yeah, I definitely get what you're saying with that. So we'll see. Both Royal Rumble winners definitely have arguments of why they should have won. So I'm not really like hating too much that both these people won, just because I see what the direction there is going. So we'll have to see. We'll see if Liv Morgan wins the title again. I think that would make the most sense, just because you got many other feuds you can go with. And like Tears said, Victoria hasn't had the best title reign, but neither is Jade Cargill. So we'll see what the plan is for all the champions going into Mania. And speaking of champions, Tommaso Ciampa. We all heard he was leaving WWE. We didn't know exactly where he was going. I heard some rumors he wanted to go to New Japan. Him showing up in AEW, he could still go and do that, which is great for him. He showed up, badass entrance theme, really, really cool. I like his entrance. It really made him look like a star. He's fighting, Mark Briscoe, which Tears, if I'm not mistaken, they have a history in Ring of Honor, right? Didn't they face off like many moons ago in like Ring of Honor?
I believe so, but it wasn't like a big time feud. It was like one of those to where like, oh, this is fun to watch. Sure. It was like it's an equivalent of a, let's say, Dolph and Miz feud. It's reliable, it's safe, but you're not gonna really push numbers with it
too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he debuts. Mark Briscoe's in the ring talking about like he wants to open challenge for the TNT title. Anybody wants to step up. Ciampa comes out. They set up a match for a Collision. And Ciampa surprisingly wins the championship. Didn't know if he was going to or not because Mark Briscoe, they've had him win the title. He hasn't really taken a lot of losses. But it seems like Tony Khan's a big fan of Ciampa, and rightfully so. Ciampa, I didn't know exactly how he's going to fit in with AEW. And again, titles don't really mean a lot in AEW just because they have so many of them. But like, it's cool to see him win a championship. And he does fit AEW really well when it comes to like his size. He's a great wrestler. He can kind of be more of himself. He ain't in a box like he was on the main roster. Like, it's definitely a better fit. And we'll have to see going forward what Tony Khan continues to do with Ciampa. But, dude, I know you're a big fan of Ciampa. We all loved his work in NXT, especially the heel gimmick. I thought was spectacular. Main roster wasn't really the best for him. What do you think about him showing up and winning the title?
I was actually surprised about that. I'm not gonna lie. I figured like it would just be like big old build up, them doing like the insert name here is all elite like they used to type stuff, and like, oh, he's showing up, he's main eventing certain house shows, or not house shows, but like televised shows, and then he would get a title. I didn't expect him to win the title like second match, but then again, once again, it's the TNT title. Does that one once again, titles, it's really hard to make them feel important in AEW, really, considering how many there are. But it's one of the more shocking title wins there. How much are we gonna ride on this hype train? We don't know yet. I'm curious where this leads, but there is something I want to point out. Is like why you might have heard me just chuckle a second ago. It's just like the thought came to my head, and since Royal Rumble just happened, we literally just had a trade from Ciampa for Hobbs, because Powerhouse Hobbs also debuted in the Royal Rumble, did he not?
Yes, he did, as Royce Keys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he didn't
It feels like a
all
legit trade.
Yeah, it was a pretty much, yeah, you could say it was a trade. NBA trade deadline's tomorrow, so WWE trade season's in effect too. So Royce Keys for Tommaso Ciampa, which I like Power. By the way, before we get on, I like Powerhouse Hobbs. I think, he's very limited in AEW. Didn't really make him a star like they should have. I mean, he had some success, but I feel like he definitely should have had a higher ceiling there. But go ahead, continue about Ciampa.
I was going to say, well, to add on to that, I was also going to say, like, everybody said, like, Powerhouse Hobbs is WWE bred. Like, his style fits WWE. And it goes with, like, what you said about Ciampa being AEW style. Like, it works. It quite literally is like a situation to where, like, Ciampa's style works more for AEW and Hobbs' style will work more for WWE. It was actually the perfect situation for both of them. But do I see Ciampa winning, like, say, the World Heavyweight Championship? Not this year. I don't see that happening this year. I feel like the main roster scene would kind of hurt him too much. If he was to leave right after NXT, then maybe in like 6 months, but we're gonna need to try to come back to that. And then what are we gonna do if Johnny Gargano leaves WWE? Is AEW gonna take advantage of that? I don't want them to. I feel like if we keep relying on the DIY tag team, then it's just gonna hurt them both.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see DIY and or AEW either. I just feel like the tag team kind of played out. And let's be honest, tag teams in both companies aren't really that important. Like, let's be serious.
Ooh.
Like AEW's tag division is just completely depleted outside of FTR and maybe the Bucks right now. I mean, you just had Jake something, and I can't think of his tag team, but now Jake Doyle or Jake something's injured. He's out 6, 7 months. There's another new team, and then WWE. I mean, the tag team division has never been more or less important than it is now. I mean, it's so DIY. I feel like would be a bad move for AEW just because I just don't think they'd be doing a whole lot. Like they just be kind of like I feel like. Unfortunately, I feel like Tony Khan be like, oh well, let's do DIY against FTR since they had that NXT match. Let's get yeah, that's exactly what
No.
he would do first match, and it would just be like, okay, well now what? Like so, I don't know. I mean, Gargano was rumored to go to AEW years ago. I guess they didn't really want him as bad, or maybe Triple H convinced him to come back. It was rumored a while that maybe Gargano would go to AEW since the Black and Gold was going to the new NXT era, and the main
The
roster was ran
2.0.
by Vince. So, I mean, Gargano's kind of been on TV more. He's shooting with Axiom right now, or Fraxium, I should say. But I mean, I don't see Gargano lasting long in WWE either. I mean, I feel like he's definitely probably gonna be out the door when his contract's up too. Candice LeRae as well. She ain't really been doing a whole lot. So, do I want to see them in AEW with Ciampa? Maybe if they're both in the locker room. I don't want to see them on a tag team. I will say that. I don't want to see that. But it is nice to see Ciampa have some success in AEW because on the main roster they didn't really give him a chance to do anything. I mean, it was just kind of like, okay, and this is what Vince did a lot. We're going to take away everything that got you over NXT. We're going to change your entrance team. We're going to change your character. We're going to put you in a tag team with the Miz, which that was just, yeah, that was not good. But we'll see. I mean, AEW has a tendency of having people debut and have a red hot start, and then they kind of fizzle out. But a lot of people who went to WWE or went to WWE from AEW haven't really done too hot either. I mean, Ray Phoenix in the Royal Rumble, don't even get me started on that shit. Brock just destroyed him and threw him out of there like he was nothing. I'm just like, man, that is brutal. Rusev lasted
Penta
like,
did have a hot year when he first showed up.
yeah, Penta for sure. But Rusev, he looked horrible in the Rumble. I think Rusev lasted under a minute in it. I mean,
Rusev has not had a good time. I mean, he has good
no.
matches against Sheamus, but that's as far as I'm willing to give.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he ain't done shit since. So it's like, I mean, it's kind of both
Black,
ways. I mean, you're not
Black,
guaranteed success going to either company. I mean, it's
yeah.
it's tough. So we were talking about TNA, and they've lost a lot of talent. Mike Bailey, Jake Doyle, Jake something as he was previously going by, Josh Alexander, who him and Mike Bailey were the two top guys at that point. Jordan Grace is out the door. Joe Hendry.
Joe
I do
Hendry.
see Leon Slater eventually leaving for WWE. Probably Mike Santana. They've lost a lot of big names. And I just feel like the roster is so depleted. I mean, me and QJ used to watch like every TNA pay per view, especially when like Josh Alexander and Mike Bailey were there because the matches were so great. And it feels like since those two left, and just many others, it's just been a mess. They don't really have a lot of talent. That's, I understand a lot of TNA criticism comes about like how they can't book well and all that. I completely understand that. Some of the booking's been really bad. The debut show on AMC was just a mess, but they just can't afford to pay talent compared to AEW and WWE. I mean, every talent they make a star is just going to go off to their shows. I mean, so it's like they're kind of in a tough spot. I mean, I still have hope for TNA somewhat, but they just don't have the talent right now to really get people invested. I mean, Frankie Kazarian is 50 years old. He's been there forever. I don't know how much fans are going to care about him. I mean, they got Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler. He's done some good stuff there. Mike Santana, they've definitely tried to make a star, and they've been successful in that. The women's
They've
division,
been successful, but also failing. If that makes
exactly, yeah.
sense.
Some stuff's worked, some stuff hasn't. The women's division, I mean, Tessa Blanchard's still there. You got Cora Jade or Alana Black, I think what she's going by now. But it's just a mess. So, Tears, what do you think about TNA's roster right now? It's just a complete mess, if I should say.
You have no idea. It. I feel like there's legitimately no, and this is about to sound real bad, and I don't mean it to, but it's the truth in my opinion. It feels like there's no like TNA names, like not in a sense to where like, oh, this guy and that guy or that woman, this woman, like Tessa Blanchard, yeah, sure, Mike Santana, great wrestler, but they're none of them feel like TNA guys, like how it used to be like 20 or 10 years ago. Like when we had the Styles to Samoa Joe, like there's nobody to, I guess in a sense, advertise for the company to show like that dude's in TNA and all that. Like when you're one of your biggest names is Nick Nemeth, and nothing against him. Love Dolph Ziggler, love Nick Nemeth, whatever you want to call him. But people are tuning him because they remember him as Dolph Ziggler. They're not tuning into him because he's Nick Nemeth. They're not tuning in for like, I mean, I guess you got Moose, but people who knew who Moose was before TNA, are tuning in because he's Moose. There is no there's no staples in my opinion for TNA anymore. Like where's like the names like Motor City Machine Gun? Oh, they're in WWE. Where's names like Beer Money? They're all over the place. I can't figure out where James Storm is. I think he's in NWA. Where's Matt Morgan? Or there's Matt Morgan, something like that. The Styles, the Joes, the Amazing Reds. Like there's no TNA star. There's just stars. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, there's nobody you can put on a poster for TNA and that people are going to recognize and be like, oh, that person's on TNA? Like, I guess you get, like you said about Dolph, but like, that's not really a good thing because he wouldn't have made a star in your company. But like, they don't have a face of the brand type of person. I mean, Mike Santana, a lot of
Right,
people
that's what I'm
like him, but
saying.
he's not going to carry your company to the promised land. I mean, let's be serious. He's only pushed because real. I mean, I'm not even hating on the guy, but who else do they really have right now to make a main event guy besides him and Leon Slater? I mean, there's not a lot of options there. I'm not hating on Mike Santana. I think he's done some great work. But if they had other names, I don't think he'd be the world champion right now. Like I don't know what the next step is for TNA. I know they got the AMC deal and they're really happy about that. I think WWE deserve a lot of credit for that. Without that WWE's help, they wouldn't have got that. Are they just going to be WWE's developmental brand 2.0 and WWE's just going to use them to look at talent and be like, okay, we want Joe Hendry, we want Jordan Grace, we want Leon Slater, we want Mike Santana. Just use this as a developmental brand 2.0. We'll just take your talent when we're ready to take them. We'll send you guys no-name talent or talent that's not really utilized on our show, and we'll take that as a trade. Like I don't know what the next step for TNA is. Maybe Styles goes there. We'll talk about that at the end of the episode. But like, I don't know. There's just not a lot to be happy about with this brand right now, and that's not good. They've had a lot of change in creative. Scott D'Amore leaving, I think, was a bad move because he was really the guy that kept the locker room together backstage and really wrote good stuff. And really, since he's went and made Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, which if you guys have never watched that, check it out. It's a really good wrestling promotion on YouTube. They have a lot of AEW talent, New Japan talent, stuff like that appear on the show. So it's good to see, you know, talent from all different companies blend together a little bit. But yeah, I don't know what the hope is for TNA. I mean, they've lost a lot of big names, and they're not going to continue to be able to pay any of these people. If anybody does come back, it's most likely for a one-off or just WWE doing them a favor. I mean, it's just not good right now for TNA, and it's unfortunate because they were actually having a good year the last few years. I know a lot of fans only see the negative part of TNA. They were doing pretty well, 2022, 2023 with, Josh Alexander was a world champion. He was having spectacular matches. They had some AEW talent going over there, Kenny Omega, Christian facing them. So it just sucks because I always want all these companies to be successful. It's another place for people to work. They're not going to make the money, but like, it is a shame because TNA's, been around forever, whether that's a good or bad thing. It just seems like they're kind of in no man's land. So, Tears, any final comments before we move on to the next topic about TNA?
Not really. I think I said everything I needed to say to where like there's no Mr. TNA.
Yeah, there's not. So, the Royal Rumble has some good and bad moments. And one of the moments that's been getting a lot of criticism online is when Jey Uso's coming out for his 30-minute entrance, and LA Knight and Cody just eliminate Brock during the entrance. And Michael Cole doesn't even acknowledge it. Michael Cole's commentary really got on my nerves during this show, which, I mean, I'm sure everybody probably had that thought, but Brock just gets eliminated. And that's it. Jey Uso still coming out to the ring, which this Jey Uso entrance thing is just so overplayed. Just don't even get me started on that BS. But fans are not happy. They are irritated about this. I'm irritated for many reasons. I'll give my thoughts before I get to Tears. So the reason I'm irritated is because why are Cody and LA Knight eliminating Brock? Isn't Brock getting eliminated for one supposed to be a big deal? And two, why is it not happening to somebody like Obafemi or somebody like that who will gain something from eliminating Brock Lesnar? Like Brock Lesnar, like I've heard a lot of people say, like, you know, when Drew eliminated Brock in the 2021 Royal Rumble, was it 2020?
No, I think it was 2020. It was the Rumble that we had like the month prior to the pandemic, because I remember mentioning that, because that was also the Rumble. That was also the Rumble that Edge returned.
That one, yeah, okay. Well, like even during that, Drew wasn't like a main event guy yet, but that got him like, oh shit, he eliminated Brock. Like Cody doesn't gain anything. LA Knight, I mean, I guess you could say him, but I've lost all hope in his booking at this point. Like, why not have somebody who gains something from eliminating Brock, and why have him get eliminated during Jey Uso's entrance? It's just ridiculous. This whole Jey Uso thing, you know, look, I'm not even on the bandwagon of hating Jey Uso. I've never been a fan of the catchphrase only thing getting over. It's just overplayed out. And Jey Uso's been just bad as a singles wrestler for a while now. He's botched a lot of shit. It's when he botched CM Punk's neck breaker at Saturday Night's Main Event, that was it for me. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on with this guy. But Tears, what'd you think about Brock getting eliminated during the entrance and Brock getting eliminated by Cody and LA Knight?
You cannot convince me that wasn't a botch. You cannot. I don't know whether he was supposed to be eliminated earlier than that, or maybe like he was supposed to hang on like longer. But you do not just eliminate Brock Lesnar and not make that a big deal. I truly believe that either there's 4 ways this could have gone. 2 of them being what I just said. One of them being Jay's entrance was supposed to be a lot shorter, but he just couldn't allow it to not. Because I still remember that one clip I saw about him and Jimmy like leaving the crowd with the Raw tag titles and him screaming John to like continue. So maybe Jay wanted to keep his entrance going, and he was supposed to be done a lot long before then. Or Brock just said he's just done. He just wanted to just get out of the Rumble. I mean, that's kind of like a Brock thing to do, probably. Just being like, get me out of here. It just felt way too off times. Like something wrong happened. Because I do not want to believe that they would just like legitimately be like, oh, Brock's eliminated. Okay, keep going with the J train. I mean, I don't want to say like they think that this is still as popular as they want it to be. I refuse to accept that.
I agree. I mean, it might have been a botch. Who knows? It just felt very odd. And Michael Cole not even acknowledging really much of it is just weird. Maybe it was a botch and he didn't realize it was even happening. But yeah, like I get it. The Jey Uso thing's popular with a live audience. A lot of them don't even know what he's even going on or what it even is. They just see everybody else doing it. Like, yeah, yay, sure. The internet crowd hates him. And, you know, he's been posting a lot on Instagram and saying, you guys, you know, something about hating my family or something. Like he just seems like he's very upset about the hate, but some of it is actually warranted. I mean, it's just so cringe sometimes. Like, you know, you're just Jay wants to say he's not just an entrance, but that's all he is about. I mean, during War Games, he's getting up and doing his entrance during a goddamn War Games.
I hated that so much.
Yeah, it was horrible. It's supposed to be one of the most constructed match types, and you're doing a yeet during the.
If you wanted to see me smile, you should have seen my reaction to when Brock came like his music hit, it was like everyone just being like, oh, "Okay, it's time to die." He just slowly gets in the cage. He was like, "All right, time to kill." Like I had
Yeah.
the biggest smile on my face because it not only did he be a Brock Lesnar and just menace to society levels threat, but he was just like he is not playing this game.
No,
He
he's
was
not.
not having it. And neither did Roman at the Rumble. I remember that like little moment. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, at least there's some comedy involved. I didn't like how Roman hit
But
him
it
and they started working together right after, though. I did not
but
like
my
that. That was just dumb.
But you know it's bad when like what gets me a laugh is when the other person stops it happening.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Like that's what I'm
It,
saying. Like it's only over when the other person stops it from happening.
yeah, because other than that, it's just annoying and just cringe. Uh, they're gonna keep doing it because it's popular, but yeah, it's definitely not my cup of tea. I'm not even joining the bandwagon with it. I've never really liked them type of gimmick. Well, we won't spend too much time on the next topic. We're getting a lot of time wrapped up here, but Ricochet talked. He continues to talk. I haven't liked him talking as much as he has on social media. I just feel like just like we were talking about Jay, it's
At this
just
point, I
cringe at
think it's
this
his
point.
gimmick.
Yeah, and it's not even a gimmick to me. It's just annoying. Even though my voice cracked right there, ignore that. But it's just annoying. Like, but he pretty much said, and he pretty much said that the WWE main roster run ruined his reputation in wrestling. So, Tears, what do you think about Ricochet saying that?
I I mm, I want to say that there's certain things you don't say out loud, even if they're true. Like on one hand, yeah, you 100% can make that argument, but do you really want to be saying this out loud when everybody kind of already agrees? Like, was he more over in NXT? Absolutely, but let's be fair. When it came to the main roster, you kind of needed. And I know this is a dead horse, and we're going to keep beating it. We're going to get that stick out. Stick's almost broken, but we got to do it. He doesn't do promos. That's the thing about the main roster. You got to do promos, kid. Yada, yada, yada. Same jokes as always. Ricochet don't do promos. He does waffles. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, he
That's
don't.
that's the main thing about the main roster, though. And him saying like main roster killed his hype. I can see it. I'm not gonna disagree, but that's not something you just outright say.
I agree. And here's the thing: like, I know some fans might say, "Well, Javon Evans is on the main." Javon Evans is actually pretty funny. If you've seen some of his stuff in NXT and on the Indies, he's actually got quite the personality. If WWE allows him to use that, he's got a sense of humor. He's kind of the more on par with this generation of just being funny and some of the stuff he says. So Javon Evans can actually cut promos and
He's
be
young
funny.
as can be, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like he's funny and he can actually talk. So that's not a good comparison. You're making that comparison if anybody watching it makes that comparison. Ricochet had a bad run on the main roster, but like Tier said, you got to be able to talk. If you can't talk, I told QJ this. QJ's a big Ricochet guy, but I told him, I said, QJ, he can work, but he can't talk. In WWE, you have to be able to talk. That's the thing. And if you can't talk and you don't have a manager, you're not going to be able to get over. And I know Brock hasn't been the best talker and all that, and there's some arguments for that, but Brock's, Brock. He goes in there and gets a reaction just by being a badass and kicking ass and all that stuff. So, like,
And to be fair, he had a manager for a majority of his entire wrestling career too. He had
exactly.
Paul
So,
Heyman.
yeah. And could you have gave Ricochet a manager? Yeah. But Vince didn't like Ricochet like that. So it wasn't going to happen. And, it's a double edged sword when these guys sign with WWE because you're not going to be in NXT forever. And you should have known that Vince wasn't going to push you to be a star just by the history he has. He doesn't push high flying guys like that, smaller guys with southern accents like Styles and Ricochet. Styles he pushed, but like Ricochet, it was just kind of like, did he really expect to have success on the main roster? I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But on to the final topic. AJ Styles lost to Gunther at the Royal Rumble. He's officially retiring from WWE. Could this be the end of his wrestling career? Possibly. He's supposed to be on Cody's podcast. I just got the notification about that on Twitter. So maybe he'll talk more about that then. But there's been a lot of rumors swirling about him potentially going to TNA to finish up his career, maybe AEW. There's talk about how he potentially could have went to AEW in 2024. There was talk about that. He decided to stay. Maybe he wants to face Will Ospreay. That match has been something he's wanted, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, Tears, also, before I talk about Styles' at the end of his career and where he potentially should go, is there any match, feud, moments that you're always going to remember from his 10-year run in WWE?
It feels like his time in WWE was not that long, but when you look at it, it really was. Of course, we gotta talk about the John Cena ones. They happened. They were great. They were fun. Even for and in second place, I guess you could say his time against Dean Ambrose, even though it was kind of goofy and it kind of went on a little too long. There was moments in the Dean Ambrose feud that was really fun as well. The Samoa Joe one for the U.S. belt was also good. I like that one a lot.
Wendy, that one. that was funny as hell.
I love that so much. The him versus Brock was a surprise banger in my opinion. Unfortunately, like I will say, like a downside was how WWE did him and Nakamura, that feud. That first time wasn't good.
While you're talking about that, did you like their match at Saturday Night's main event? Their final
Yes,
match against
that made up for a lot of the problems.
Agreed.
I feel like if we had that as their Mania match, it would have been so much better. But I guess we needed, I guess, somehow to turn Nakamura heel. So whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Still, it that WrestleMania match did happen, so that's my negative there. There was another negative. Do I want? Nah. He had a good heel run, even when he was with the club.
Yeah, that was a good run.
That was good.
There
Him versus Balor.
Negatives, really.
Him versus Balor was good.
Him and Kevin Owens
I'd say this was a
feud for the U.S. title.
I'd say Styles' time in WWE was actually definitely more positive than negative. Like, did he need a lot of the things he got there? No, but it wasn't like anything I'll be like, oh, he shouldn't have won. I never had that feeling to where like Styles shouldn't have done insert thing here.
I agree. I mean, there ain't been a lot of negatives. Like for me, I mean, his Royal Rumble debut was iconic just because of reaction and just like it's just one of the best Royal Rumble moments ever in my opinion. Him showing up. I mean, I really enjoyed him and Cena's feud. I actually really enjoyed him and Shane at WrestleMania. That was a pleasant surprise, that match for me. I thought that match was actually very good. Him and Brock, like Tier said, pleasant surprise. Like Styles has never had a bad match. I mean, you could talk about every match Styles has had. It's always been great. I mean, even if he's gotten 5 minutes in the ring, it's been the best 5 minutes you'll see from a professional wrestler. So just a lot of good moments. I like the beat up John Cena thing, even though Vince told him to stop doing that, which I don't get why, but whatever. That's a story for another day.
It's because it was John Cena. He was putting him in a negative light.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there. But yeah, it's just a lot of.
I think it might have promoted bullying.
It could have, yeah. I could definitely get why I guess he said it, but there's a lot of good stuff. I did think him and Rollins was kind of disappointing at SummerSlam that one year, just because I didn't think it lived up. I guess
I do feel like the fact that we never got a Rollins and Styles feud was a missed opportunity. Now that you say that,
yeah, that's unfortunate. Him and Reigns had some good matches. I know Genius and QJ really liked their match at Backlash. I believe, like when Styles first got there, they actually really enjoyed that.
I want to say yes.
Yeah, just a lot of good feuds. I mean, there ain't a lot of I mean, I enjoy everything AJ Styles does in the ring and promos and stuff. I mean, I think everything he does is fantastic. He's probably the best wrestler of this generation. You could definitely make that argument for him specifically. But like, I just
modern day Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, for sure. Like him and Bryan Danielson are probably the two best wrestlers of this generation. You could make the argument.
But so like the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart argument.
Mm-hmm, exactly. When it comes to in-ring work, I know everybody's gonna say, "Well, in-ring, those two are like in a class of their own." I mean, let's just be serious. But anyways, like yeah, like a lot of him and Bryan Danielson and that SmackDown match they had was really effing good. I mean, I remember that match, the Intercontinental title, went like 30 minutes. If anybody never got a chance to watch that match, go watch it. It was probably one of the best SmackDown matches I've ever seen. It was a master class of professional wrestling, and with those two, you have no doubt about it. Anyways. Just all in all, just a great run for him in WWE. I never thought he was even going to be in WWE. When I watched him in TNA, I thought, oh, this is a smaller guy with a southern accent. Vince is never going to like him. And Vince wasn't going to push him. The Royal Rumble reaction really stunned Vince, and he was like, oh, shit, this guy's this popular? We're going to have to push him like that. The crowd reaction got Vince to make him a star, and deservedly so. One of the best to ever do it. He's done with WWE. There's rumors swirling. Gunther, retired him, and Gunther's going to keep racking up his retirements, I guess. Is Brock next? Is Chris Jericho next? We'll have to see. But Tears, do you think this is truly it for Styles in wrestling? He said he doesn't want to wrestle at 50. I believe he's 48 or 49 right now, so he's close. There's a lot of rumors swirling. Do you think this is it for him?
If he can't, I feel like there'd be so many people that'd be ungodly mad if he showed up at AEW just for certain matches. Again, and if he showed up at TNA, would that count? Because I'm just like thinking, like, he technically could still like wrestle Frankie Kazarian. Because for people to know, like, one of my favorite factions in TNA, or at least one of my top 3, was Fortune, with him, Styles, Kazarian, Rude, and Storm. And I feel like Kazarian versus Styles, 2 guys who've been in TNA for so long, like basically like help keep it alive. That would be a good match, but I don't know if it...
They did tease it like a little bit. Like when Styles showed up, they did. I think at the AMC premiere, they did tease him and Frankie Kazarian. So like maybe.
Maybe. I think that would be it for me. Like if we can only get one match, I'll take the Kazarian and Styles. So yeah, people want him and Ospreay, or maybe him and Omega. Him and Omega would be pretty good, but I'm looking more for like story reasons than just like I want to see insert match here.
Yeah, because like even if fans want to see him in Omega, like Omega's definitely not what he once was, and I mean look at
And same
what he
with
had to go.
Styles.
Yeah, like they both are older now. Like they're not. If you said this match 10 years ago, absolutely, I'd be fully on board. But like both these guys are in their 40s now. Omega's had a lot of health problems and stuff like that go on. He's not the same guy he was. He's definitely slower in the ring. He looks like he's bloated a lot of times he's in there. I don't think it'd be as good as fans. It'd be like, I don't know if it's a back. I guess Sting and Undertaker. I guess like the thought of Styles and Omega, you think, oh my gosh, like this is going to be incredible. But both these guys are not past their prime, but they're not in their prime. If that makes sense, like it wouldn't be one of the greatest matches ever, like fans would think it would be. If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. So like him and Ospreay, Ospreay pays a lot of tribute to AJ Styles. Would it be enticing to see that? Yeah. But like him come back just to do that, I mean, I looked up. Styles is 48 years old, so he's got. If he doesn't want to wrestle, he's got maybe a year or 2 left. So like, to him, is it worth going to AEW?
No, not really.
Yeah, I don't really see it. I mean, TNA would be a good swan song just for him to finish up there. But the problem is, besides Leon Slater and Kazarian, who does he face? Excuse me. Like, who's he face? There's not a lot of options there where you go, AJ Styles is going to make that person a star. He's going to go against that guy. Like, they teased him and Leon, him and Kazarian, but that's pretty much it. Like, does he have one last world title run? I've seen a lot of fans say that. Like, you should go, like now thinking about it, and I'm not putting it fully out of the realm of possibility that he wrestling. I just don't really see what entices him to. Like, he's done everything there is to do in the wrestling business. There's nothing really left for him to prove or do. Yeah, he could want to have dream matches against certain guys, but is it really that worth it? Like, I actually kind of do see this being the end for AJ Styles just now thinking about it, just because I just don't really see what else he'd want to do in his career. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer just sitting there, like, accomplished everything there is accomplished. Like, there's nothing else to do.
Right.
So Yeah, I do think this is the end. And it's really kind of crazy to think about like him and John Cena both retiring within a 2 month span. Because like I know I'm speaking for both me and Tears. Like both these guys have been around for my whole entire wrestling fandom. Like I started watching in 2008. Styles was the guy in TNA at that point. Cena was the guy in WWE. Like both these guys were like have been a part of wrestling my whole entire life. So for the both them to retire within a 2 month span, I mean it's tough because you're never going to see another John Cena or AJ Styles ever in wrestling. I know some people don't like John Cena and he's a robot in interviews. I get all that, but like the impact both these guys have had on the business and wrestling and the next generation is unheard of. I mean, both these guys have had a huge impact. So, Tears, any final thoughts for wrap up on AJ Styles or any of the topics we talked about?
Do you know it's crazy to say? And like, yeah, you don't see what I look like at all when I do this. I use an avatar and all that. But I would like to say like I'm a pretty decently aged individual. I understand why people say like when all your favorites that you grew up watching retire, like they are at that age, you kind of start losing like that drive. I do feel that I still care about wrestling. I still watch wrestling, but it's just like there's no hardly anybody that I grew up watching is even around anymore. Like the most I could say is like Christian Edge is in AEW,
And the
Orton in
Hardys in
WWE.
TNA.
Yeah, the Hardys too, but it's just like it's really
We got
getting
Brock. We
hard.
got yeah. It's not a lot left from our when we grew up watching wrestling. I mean, there's not a lot of people left. Randy Orton, Brock, Edge, Christian, the Hardys.
Like those like early 2000 stars too, because we're not like old.
No, both in their 20s, but like not. I mean,
Shit, I'm pushing 30 almost.
yeah, we're getting up there. So like, yeah, I mean, it's really something to think about. Like how a lot of these guys are retiring. Brock's retiring soon. Jericho, I mean, he's coming back, but he's not going to have a long run. He pretty much just wants to return and wrap up his career in WWE. So I mean, a lot of these guys are retiring, and I think that's a kind of an issue for these companies, especially WWE, because they rely on these guys so much. So it's like, I mean, we'll see. It is a sad day, though. I mean, seeing Styles and Cena retiring, I don't know if it's really hit me yet because I still have my doubts that Styles is done. But like, I mean, yeah, it sucks. I mean, those are two guys that have always been around. It's like I know when LeBron retires from the NBA, a lot of fans are going to feel like that, or when Curry retires, they're going to be like, "Damn, like I've been watching LeBron play since I was like this age," and it's going to be like kind of a lost piece of the puzzle in a sense. So
Right.
I completely understand why some people got emotional. Some people are giving fans shit for crying when Cena retired. I don't want to give people shit because for a lot of people, like wrestling is an escape from their lives or escape from reality. Cena was kind of that, never give up. He was
He was
an
that
inspiration for.
superhero. He was like the Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Like the never give up, the hustle, loyalty, respect. Like he was kind of a hero for the kids, like to say. Like so, I don't really give a lot of people shit for crying because wrestling helps people escape reality. It's a good outlet. Like I got a little emotional watching it. I wasn't even a Cena fan, so I can imagine Cena fans watching it. Styles fans, I've been a Styles fan, but I wasn't like a diehard, like diehard. Like I can understand why diehard fans or just fans in general get emotional because it's a part of your childhood or a part of your fandom that is officially done. And Styles and Cena could officially be done. That's an era that we're never gonna get back. It makes you feel older. It makes you feel like, damn, like Cena's been around since I was a kid. Now I'm 20, 30, 40 years old. Damn, where's the time gone? That type of shit. So, sometimes we don't appreciate shit in the moment, but I do think, Cena Styles obviously should be appreciated. Hall of Fame careers, never going to be replaced. And, you know, hopefully they continue to impact the business. I know Styles is going to be a coach or some shit probably in NXT, which good for him. Styles is someone who teaches you about pro wrestling. It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, that's probably like top of the mountain when it comes to teaching. So we'll have to see. So Tears, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, that's about all I had to say.
All right. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.